Eagles and the Washington Commanders. Now, how long have you been with as a reporter for the Commanders?
I've been on site with the Commanders now for 7 years. I started, well, I guess it's going on 8 because I
Hmm.
started everything in 2017 when I started my business, Seawall Sports and Entertainment. And then from there, you kind of move forward to 2021 when I got to Bowie TV, located in Bowie,
Okay.
Maryland. Homegrown, hometown. So grew up there and reside there. So I've been there and I've still just kind of transitioned. I still, have my businesses, but been solely dedicated to Bowie TV since I think it was August 2021.
Okay.
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 So that's my media credentials is through Bowie TV with the
Hmm. Yeah, I got family in that area. Actually, I got a nephew, and my sister lives in Laurel, so
Oh
it's
wow,
not
right
too
up the
far from
street.
Bowie. Yeah.
Yeah, right up the
Okay.
street.
Okay. Now, I was watching when I'm doing this research on you, and at the beginning of the season, you were on the Toyota Sports Show with Scott Abraham,
Mhm.
and he had asked you, "What are you looking for in week one?" And one of your answers was how Jaden Daniels is going to do. So now I'm going to ask you this question from that time up to a few days before the NFC Championship game. What have you seen in Jaden Daniels?
Jaden Daniels is as advertised. I remember when the team drafted Jaden,
Mhm.
and I remember how, Adam Peters described Jaden, and everything Adam said about Jaden is true. And he made a comment about um, it's just something about him as like a competitor, and when he gets out on the field, he mentioned it's like he takes your soul,
Hmm.
is what he said,
Mhm.
right? And I'm like, because this is back in April, like, okay, Adam, this is a little intense.
Hmm.
But
Right.
as Adam Peters continues to show improve every day, some of the things that I think are a little intense or ambitious or whatever the case may be, he proves me wrong each and every time because that comment has stuck out so much to me that he said that because he's absolutely correct.
Hmm.
Jaden is a phenomenal. He's been a joy to cover on site. You could all the things you see of him on
Mhm.
TV, that is him. And I shared this on my shows early on. I said it is something about though when that kid gets on that football field, he's different. He is a competitor, still ultimate, you know, just a Christian, loves God, and is a cool person. You see what he does out there with
Hmm.
Right.
other teams, right? You can
Yeah.
tell he's just a good human, but
Just
he wants to win football games.
Hmm.
just for the Eagles fans, in our area, like as you're saying about Jaden Daniels, just seems like a very humble, down to earth person in his interviews. Not about me. It's all about team culture and team first. But he just seems like, as you're saying, he's just very humble. The way he carries himself, and he, definitely rookie of the year, and he's just changed that whole culture. You like you said, you've been covering, the Washington franchise for 7, 8 years, and I know, we're familiar with Josh Harris here in Philly and the Sixers, and not just that, but bringing in Dan Quinn, and just can you just touch on what the Washington organization is like now compared to when it was under
The other guy.
Daniel Snyder?
I mean, it's night and day.
Right.
I think that I mean it's been an organization, but in terms of just I would say overall professionalism,
Mm-hmm.
and folks that just know what they're doing, and folks that are just good of full of good people. I don't know if you I know you all are Eagles fans, but I don't know how
Right.
much you listen to Dan Quinn's press conferences and he calls us by our names, right? He
Oh.
ensures he knows everyone that is on the daily beat and on the daily grind because we're there with them every day.
Right.
You know, every day they practice for the most part, right? And we're on the road as well. So his attitude, and you see that in the press conferences, that's the attitude of everyone. Adam, Pete, everyone, from the ownership on to the, you know, athletic trainers and equipment managers. So they are good people. They're very professional. They're very smart. They're going to bring their best selves to work every single day. And you just didn't get that
Mhm.
before. You just didn't. It was just kind of like media, okay, and you know, kind of who cares or whatever. No one really tried to get to know you or just really acknowledged you as being someone who is giving a lot of themselves as well in terms of time to be there on site with the team every day. So
I don't know if a lot of people know this, but not just Josh Harris, but Magic Johnson's in on the ownership as well.
yes, yep, he is part of the Josh Harris ownership group with the Washington Commanders as a limited partner. And you know, Josh Harris, of course, is the, you know, majority owner, and then there's several others as well that's in that group. So yes, Magic Johnson is definitely one of the owners, and we do see him around. If that's a
Right.
question as well, we do see him around. He's spoken to the team on several occasions, and so he's just another one of those good, really
Right.
great people that have a lot to offer to the organization and the community as well.
No, I
Yeah.
can definitely testify to Dan Quinn. I've been knowing him for quite a few years when he was with Atlanta and Dallas, because whenever they come to Philly, I'm one of the first person that they have to deal with. And Dan Quinn has always been a very nice person. And a lot of times when you're dealing with professional athletes and coaches and stuff, there's a stigma about them where if you're not on their level, they don't have a lot to say to you. But Dan has never been that way, and every time he sees me, he acknowledges me. Oh man, you still here? And so I can attest to him being that type of a person, you know.
Yeah, no, he's fantastic. If it was one thing that I was wrong about, completely wrong about this season, it was about Dan Quinn. He's absolutely tremendous. I'm glad I'm glad he's the Washington Commanders head coach.
Okay. All right. Now, getting to the game again, you're Washington, so I know the answer, but what is your true feelings about this game coming up this Sunday at 3 o'clock?
Well, you know, I'm a member of the media, so I'm always going to be unbiased, right? As a
Right.
member of the media, I think it's going to be a war. That's what I think.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be an all-out war. You know, Thursday night football, there was a lot going on, right? There was a short week for the Commanders. They had the loss to the Steelers that Sunday. Jaden Daniels was still dealing with his rib injury, but it was still a pretty solid game from a defensive standpoint from the Commanders side of it. You know, they probably played as solid of a game as they could play defensively for about 53 minutes. Then that final bit, Saquon Barkley made them pay for it, right? As soon as they let off their step, he made them pay, which that's what he does.
Right.
So I will say that. But that game in December, round 2, that rematch of just what the NFC East does, right? Or divisions anyway, right? When they see each other twice a year. That was pretty nasty. That game got very nasty fast. And you know, there could be a lot said about, you know, who did this, why, this, that, and the third. But guess what? The series is split.
Right.
So you typically will see in the playoffs where if a team has kind of swept another team, they'll say, oh, well, you're not going to beat a team 3 times, or you're not going to do this, you know, twice. And the reality is neither one of these teams has beat each other twice.
Right.
So this will be a fight for real, because this is to go to the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
this is not a regular season game. This is
Right.
for a run at the championship, the for real one. This is the one for the ring.
Mhm.
And I
Hmm.
think it's going to be intense. I don't
Right.
think anybody should be too pompous, right? And
Right.
thinking
Exactly.
either way, right? I don't think anybody should not be pompous about this. I think
Mhm.
it'll be a good game. It'll be a good watch. It'll be your money's worth, and it'll be absolutely where the NFC East was the NFC least. You will see that these
Right.
two teams are, as you see this year, the leaders of the NFC
Mhm.
Right.
now. So, I, you know, each one got where they are fair and square.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
you know, no, can't nobody. It's nothing debatable, like debatable plays. You know, maybe here and there, but both teams have earned their right
Mhm.
to fight for it all. You know,
Right.
on Sunday at 3.
Well, as you're saying, I think it's going, like you said, it's going to be an all-out war. This is going to be a heavyweight fight. You know, who's going to go the distance? I don't know if you may know who Hugh Douglas is. Played for the Eagles. He's on 94 WIP. Yesterday, he made a comment saying, you know, the way, you know, with Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, like this could be a rivalry for the next decade between Washington. You know, we know with free agency where everything changes these days, but you know, it's not only for the NFC title, but this could be bragging rights for the next couple of years in the NFC
Oh,
when it
sure.
comes down to it.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to compete
NFC
during the
East,
game. Yeah, they're going to compete during the game, but many of these guys are friends, you know,
right?
in
Mhm.
real life. Many of them are friends in real life. So we just got to,
Right.
but and put that in perspective that that's game time, but many of them are friends and work out
Oh yeah,
together in the
definitely.
off season and do all of that. But in terms of what to your point, Mike, in you know, this could be must see TV for quite some time, and it will certainly be that
Exactly.
on Sunday for sure.
Right.
Now, let me ask you, everything is new for you guys, ownership, coaching, quarterback. Now, have you noticed or heard any talk about like the rest of us, like the Eagles and already with the Lions, they lost their two coordinators. Have you heard anybody say anything that they're talking to any of you guys coordinators?
Well, yes. Well, I think one of them is decided now, right? I think Joe Witt Jr. had a an interview, I think, with the Jets or something on
Hmm.
that regard. But offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury has been very clear from the beginning that he was focused,
Right.
and anything else would have to be discussed or even thought about after their season was over, whatever that may be. So
Right.
they are keeping, the main thing in terms of focusing on the season. And so you're not hearing too much in terms of the coordinators. I mean, there is a great deal of expectation potentially that the commander's assistant GM, Lance Newmark, may be the GM for the Jets. But
Mm.
again, they're just focused on their still, which is still their active season right now.
Oh, okay. Okay. So,
Yeah,
go ahead, Mike. I hold this question. Go ahead.
I was going to actually ask you this before, but is Sam Cosme playing this week or is
No,
he out for the year?
he's out.
Okay.
Hmm. Yep,
Just
he's not
want
playing.
just wanted to be clear on that. Back
Mhm.
to you, Al.
Okay. What is the score
Oh,
in your opinion?
I don't do
You don't
predictions.
do score? Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I'm gonna keep
Well,
that consistent.
I hear you.
What?
Well, I know one of the things that I'm looking for is Zach Ertz because we're pretty good friends there. And when they was here the last time, and he got off the plane, he saw me, he came up, we talked, we hugged, and then when they left, same thing. He came up, he said, "Man, it feels good to come back to a city that you played in the first place. First person that you see is you." and the last person that you see is you. So I'm looking forward to seeing him again this year.
Where
Next
are
week.
you in the stadium? I'm probably just. Are you in the stadium?
I'm all over the place because I
Okay.
bring the team in. Matter of fact, I pick up Washington probably 3 or 4 o'clock Saturday evening,
Mm-hmm.
and so we used to go up in the press room, but all it takes is one person to ruin it. They don't let us up in the press
I
room
was going to
anymore.
say I will make sure you come and find me so I can say hello because
Right, absolutely.
I'm typically in the tunnel when the team arrives to the stadium. I'm typically there when they get there. I'm there.
Okay.
So
Well, that'll
um,
be me bringing them in there, so I will come in there and say hi to you.
yes, come in and say hi. I'm on the, I normally stand right, like how where they come in at. So
Yeah, yeah.
right by the visitors press room, the visitors
Okay.
entry room. I'm normally like right there when they're
Okay.
coming
Okay.
in. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we got about 3 minutes left in this hour. And is there anything you want to share with us about the Washington Commanders, in your opinion, or anything you want to share with the Eagles Nation here?
No, I think it's, buckle up. I think it's gonna be a good game. I think it's
What?
both franchises have a lot to be proud of. It's
Yes.
not
Right.
I mean, it is a competition and it is for something very big, and that is
Hmm.
each opportunity to play at the Super Bowl. So it will, I do hope that level heads prevail because, like I said,
Hmm.
that round two got a little nasty at some spots.
Right.
But I think that it's a statement to the division,
Mhm.
at least half of it.
Right.
And the both franchises have a lot to be proud of right now. This is who what teams don't want to be one of the final four playing
Hmm.
for the conference championship and a chance to go to the Super Bowl. So this is a very exciting thing for the East Coast, the NFC East, and these two teams. So it'll be a good thing.
And
Would you,
especially we're so close to each other too, huh?
Yep.
right. Would
Yep.
you? Was there any keys to the game that you could think of, like off the top of your head?
For either team or
Yes.
well,
For
I
it-
mean, I think both teams have, dynamic quarterbacks. And we know that for the Eagles, the Saquon Barkley has just had an amazing, amazing year. What he's
Right.
done for the Philadelphia Eagles has been absolutely tremendous for certain. And he's just a hard person to stop
Hmm.
overall. But there's a lot of credit to Jalen Hurts. There's a lot of credit to offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, uh,
Mhm.
Vic Fango, and what they're doing with the organization, Nick Sirianni, to stay consistent and stay a consistent threat is
Right.
very hard to do. So they're going to be aggressive. The Eagles play with a lot of physicality. They're tough, right? I mean, we talk about the jarring back and forth is one thing, but that defensive line is great.
Hmm.
Uh, but I think that one of the things, that just both teams got to stay focused. Both teams
Right.
got to
Right.
stay focused
Right.
and not let that jarring get to the best of them, right?
Right.
Because the Eagles,
Mhm.
one of their players, they got kicked out the game.
Hmm. Hmm.
You don't get kicked
CJ.
out of the game. That's just irresponsible at this
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
That's just irresponsible. You're gonna let words get you kicked out of a football game that you needed to win,
Hmm.
right?
Exactly.
You need to win
Right.
all of them. So you can't let your attitude get the best of you and get kicked out because you're a valuable asset. So as much as both teams can play mistake-free football
Mhm.
and be very focused and because a slip, can cost you the football game. Turnovers
Absolutely.
are always
Exactly.
key. Turnovers are always key. And
Right.
so whoever can create chaos is more than likely the person, the team that's going to come out victorious, meaning
Hmm.
creating chaos, getting those picks, forcing those fumbles, forcing those mistakes,
Absolutely.
forcing third and longs. That's who's going to win. Whoever, because these are two good football teams. Both
Right.
teams have absolutely earned the right to play on Sunday.
Definitely.
So whoever creates confusion for the other team and does more of it, that'll be the team that comes out victorious.
Right.
Okay, good,
Well,
good.
thank
All right, well, we want to thank you so much for coming on
Thank you.
sharing some of your time with us. And like I said, I
Appreciate
would
it.
definitely look for your Sunday when we come in there.
Have a time for sure.
Thank you for coming on. We deeply appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're
All
welcome.
right, everybody, this
Have a
has
good
been
night.
After 50 with Fuji and Fleet, and our guest has been Candy Waller of the Washington Nationals. Thank you so much for coming on.
Go Birds.
Good. All right, man. Thank you so much. This has been, you didn't have a lot of time, but it was good the time that you gave us there.
Okay, right.